Hey everybody, and welcome to an episode that I'm sure is going to be decently popular just because of the title. So I'm not even going to beat around the bush, I'm just going to get straight to it. This is the Filmmaker or Filmmasturbator episode, okay? That's pretty funny right off the bat. Okay, so subscribe, like, comment, do all that kind of thing. You know I need to say it, but as we get right into it, the Filmmaker and the Filmmasturbator, there is a very clear distinction between the two, okay? And the problem is that most people in the indie cinematic world do not know the difference and do not know where they fit into this food chain. All right. The filmmaker is not only somebody who produces content and completes what they say they're going to complete, but they move forward in a tactical, structured method. They plan ahead, they make steps to move forward, they learn from their mistakes, and at the minimum, they do what they say they're going to do. A film masturbator is somebody who wants to make a movie, but doesn't do the homework, doesn't do the research, doesn't know how to actually do it, and doesn't take the time to even figure out or learn how to do it. The film masturbator is going to be somebody that watches a couple behind the scenes commentaries, documentaries, whatever, is going to assume that that's how you make the movie, right? They look at the Hollywood style, the format, they go to film school and they say, oh, I know how to make a movie. You know, this is what you do. You follow this procedure, that procedure, and you go for it. The problem is that most times these people are people who don't realize or don't care to actually think for themselves and move forward in a productive manner as far as I am not in Hollywood, right? Hollywood is a box, okay? As much as people like to say it's not, as soon as real money comes into the picture, there's a big, big box put on you. You now have to do what you're told. You have to give and take. You have to, in order to get this scene or get the budget for this amount, you have to lower it somewhere over here. It's constantly a battlefield. And the biggest problem, and the best way I can describe this is, when you are on a Hollywood set and you're an actor and you're sitting down at a table, when the camera cuts, you can no longer move anything on the table. If the object over here, the glass, needs to move a couple centimeters to the left, somebody over there has to come by and do it because of union rules, because they have a job and that's their job. That's the description. When you're in indie cinema, are you really going to waste the time that it takes to get that person from across the room to walk on over here and move it? Or are you just going to sit there and move it? There is a process to Hollywood cinema that you are not invited to. You're not a part of it. So don't act like you are. I don't use a clapboard when I'm editing the film. When I have written, edited, and I'm directing it, I don't waste my time and bring out a clapboard and stop every 5 seconds to see what shot is which and where it goes. I take my notes, I know how my notes go, I know where I need to look, and then when I sit down for the edit, I know what shots are what. I was there on the set, I wrote the movie, I understand it in every part and every aspect. But a lot of filmmakers that I've worked with, especially when it's on theirs, they cannot even process that kind of method. Now, the difference between them and me is that film masturbators are people who cannot think outside the box as far as anything that's outside Hollywood. They can't think in logical terms. The film business, right? Not only this just a podcast, the film business is a business. So you're trying to create a product and move something forward that is going to sell or attract a market and a consumer that is then going to give you money for the work that you put in. You're trying to get your art profitable. That's the whole point of this. Biggest description and the difference between a filmmaker and a film masturbator, okay? A film masturbator, okay, is somebody who is going to sit down and say, I have $20,000, okay? My $20,000, I'm going to build a set. I'm going to put all this money into the set design. I'm put all into the monster, graphics, all this other stuff. I'm going to make a classic horror film that's going to appeal to classic horror film audience. There are going to be people who love those, sci-fi horror thriller movies, and they got this creature that's in there and this band of badass hombres got to jump inside, and then they're going to shoot up and try to kill it, and it's going to kill all of them, but one person's going to get away, and it's going to be a girl, and we're going to have a final girl film. Everybody loves a final girl film, right? Done. Everything's good. Then we're going to shoot this film. We're going to do it as quickly as possible. We're going to pay these people, and we're just going to fucking blast it out. So we'll take all this time to kind of set things up, and then we're going to move forward, knock this thing out, get into the editing, and then shoot it out for festivals. And there we go. We're going to get picked up, and somebody's going to want us to make a full feature out of it, and we're going to make a bunch of money. That's the process, right? They're hoping that this one method, that's a proven method back in the 80s, right, is going to work in short form content, is going to be picked up by general audiences, and everybody's going to love it. It's going to go around the festival circuit. It's going to make nothing but noise. Sundance, everybody's going to go, wow. And next thing you know, you're going to be making another movie, which is going to be right on its way to the Oscars, right? This is called the horse. This is the gold. This is the lottery ticket method, the lottery ticket winner, which is something I've discussed before. That's a film masturbator. This is somebody who is not actually looking into the business side of it, is not looking to do anything really. This is somebody who is hoping that it just happens for them. So they're going to go out, they're going to get these actors, these actresses, these other people that they're working with, and they're going to kind of sell them on this idea of, oh, we're making a movie, and everybody loves movies, right? Now, what does a filmmaker do in this situation, okay? Because let's take this same exact analogy, let's take this same exact situation, and now apply it to a filmmaker, okay? What's the difference? Are they going to do the same kind of content? A filmmaker is going to think very, very carefully about what he or she is going to do with $20,000. The biggest point is $20,000 needs to go towards the marketing, right? A good chunk of that money needs to go towards the marketing of the film to get it out there. If you have $20,000 to spend, chances are you should be spending around 10 to 12 on just marketing alone. Just getting the word out about what the film is, right? Now, a short film is very, very hard to sell into a feature unless the concept is super, super unique and different. That means you can't have the classic horror film where these badass hombres jump into one location and only the final girl makes it out. That's been done how many times before? So it's not going to work. It's nothing new. Your characters don't have enough time to be super unique, and you don't have enough money to really create something that's going to be out of this world. So now you're kind of locking yourself into this box where you say, okay, what do I do? What can I make? I want to make a story that's about these badass people. I want to create something that's going to project longevity, that's going to be something I can sell, or I can market, or I can build an audience around that will eventually get to pay my bills and make me profitable. This is where you would take that money, you would take at least a part of that money, and you would turn it into something that could actually sell. Because what is unique about that concept? What could be used? Is it going to be a short film that's going to be some lottery ticket that, oh, it's going to take over the world? Probably not. But what would somebody in Hollywood pay for? Well, they want something tried and true, correct? They want something that's the next, Riddick series. They want something that's the next Fast and Furious. They want something, all these Vin Diesel movies. They want something that is proven to have worked. Hollywood is that way. That's how they do things. Well, do a pilot episode. You don't have enough money to make a feature. You don't want to waste your money on a short film. You want to put your efforts into something that can prolong, something that can go the distance, something that can make a job for yourself. Imagine if instead of waiting on a lottery ticket and hoping that the fucking sky opens and that you're going to get somehow miraculously picked up and now you're going to be the next, thing on top of Icon magazine, instead of looking at that and trying to go that route, why don't you make something that could possibly, potentially be a product that somebody would buy? Imagine, would you buy it? Do you think it's going to go somewhere? If you have the option between working a job or being a part of a project that is going to pay you for 3 years, right? Versus a one-stop shop that might pay you once, right? You get a lump sum, it goes on to streaming, you never know how many numbers, how many people actually see it because they hold their numbers, they do their thing. What are you going to choose? What are you really going to go for? This is where the filmmaker comes out and makes a difference. They're going to now come up with an element, whatever they can, put the most amount of money besides the marketing budget, because you need to put that off to the side, as well as the money that you have to use to pay your people. So you can put that to the side. Now you only have a little bit of chunk to work with. Put that money in the right spot to make the most unique picture of what it is. This is calling in favors. This is calling in extra stuff to have people come and help you out with camera work, with cameras, with lighting. This is going to Walmart and just buying the cheap lights and being creative with making it work instead of paying some company an astronomical amount when they do all these commercial shoots, and now you've wasted so much of your budget for what? The film is not going to come out to be anything unique. So you putting the money into maybe the sculpting and design of a special suit and creating a cool concept and core concept around this pilot episode with this unique suit that you spent $3,000 on, right? $3,000 on one suit, you can probably make something pretty unique. Then you have really good characterization, really good things in this little, 15, 20-minute episode, maybe even a little bit longer if you can swing it. And now you have something that you can pitch. You bring your pitch deck, you bring your entire storyline, you pick everything out, and now you can gain the money and the funds, and hopefully from the investors, you can gain the interest of audience members because they love classic cultural horror movies. And now you have a show that's going to go directly into the line of what they like, what they appreciate on a network or under somebody that's going to get you on a network that is, recognizable and appreciated, and it's going to actually go somewhere. And meanwhile, you get to actually make some money off of it. It is all about how you film. Going to film school, and we will go through a whole list and a whole episode about just film school in general. But going to film school, you're going to learn how to network, and the elements that you're going to learn are going to be aimed towards Hollywood. And once you're up in that section, that's what they're teaching you. They are not teaching you indie cinema. So a film masturbator is going to hear what that is and now close themselves off to everything else. A film masturbator looks through the world like this. They do not think outside the box. They do not listen to the people that are around them. They think, I need to make a movie, I'm the director, this is what I do, all answers come through me, this is how it goes, this is what it is. 9 times out of 10 those films fail. And it's just because they're not open. They don't know what they don't know, they don't know what they have because they don't ask. A lot of times you'll run into actors, actresses, or people that will do your work for free and will jump in and help you and be a part of your project, and you have no idea that they also do choreography on the side, and they could have choreographed this whole fight scene, but you refused to listen to them. Because a film masturbator is closed-minded. A film masturbator thinks they know everything that's filmed, that's cinema. Most of them are older people who never learned. They heard what was going on. They were never even part of it. Most of them, it's really surprising. Most people that are like this were never ever a part of these larger scale shoots. They were never a part of big SAG operations. They were never a part of any of these films. Yet instead they have this demeanor that, the director is the top of the hat and they can't trust anybody. They can't work with anybody. They can't do these things. And they put themselves in this place of power, and that's what it becomes about. So instead of making the product, most of the time the product is not finished. They do not make their day. And it happens consistently. Another form is these film masturbators, when you get on there, they don't have a shot list. They don't have a pre-production done. I mean, basic things where you would say, look, if I was to hire myself, and I said, look, I am going to hire me to make this movie, would I be happy with that person being on the set, not having a shot list, not knowing what they were doing, not understanding what kind of shots they were going to take during the day, not having practiced the lines or done any kind of rehearsals whatsoever, even if the time was scrunched, but not even attempting to do so? You would know if they did or didn't. And really just kind of coming up with things on the spot. Would you feel very confident that they were going to do something spectacular? Would you succeed? Do you really think that you're going to bring the best product that now is going to work somewhere? Now somebody's going to watch and appreciate? Imagine if you knew that the filmmaker that made that short didn't really try, didn't really push themselves to give you something that was super unique, and went out and just said, I'm going to shoot this in one day, and boom, here it is, and here's my movie. Would you watch that? Would you really enjoy that? No, you want to look at these films and think, man, this person really put this time into it, and I can tell. Trust me, people can tell. Especially in the indie world, there's so many of these films that pop up where you say, you don't belong here. It just is what it is. We all make mistakes. Bad movies are bad movies, sometimes out of your control. But the fact is, most times, actual filmmakers and these bad movies that you see outside of it, this comes into a whole nother episode that we can do, where it describes of the other people now controlling you. The biggest fact is, if you are on the indie level, and you have never worked on one of those big film sets, but you want to, save it for then. Do it then, If you want to be a big movie producer and you want to work on these big sets, how's about when you get there, you act like you're big time because you're there. You made it. So now sit back and allow other people to come in and do their jobs for you for the union and all that kind of stuff. And also try to keep, your head screwed on tight when people are locking you out of the editing room because now they're holding the film hostage, or now the producer wants you to change his hairdo instead of this and that, or they want you to change to a female, or if you want to make this scene, expensive because it's got the explosion and you want to really show that explosion off, well, that means that you're going to lose out on the spaceship leaving, and now you don't get that shot at all, or if you do, they only want to show half of the engine because that's going to be cheaper. When you have those problems, how's about you enjoy those problems when you have those problems? When you're down in this indie level and you're making these films, you and yourself, how's about you just make the content and you make the best that you can make it. You focus on the product. Does the product look good? Not am I following the right procedures? You're not following the right procedures. The fact is, you need to be making the movie. You need to be making the product, because that is going to get you hired. A filmmaker makes the product and does exactly what they planned to do, or has given it their best attempt. But everything is educated. They're a soldier. They tactically went to war, and they accomplished and didn't accomplish in certain areas. But they did this technically. A filmmaker did their homework, and a filmmaker took it serious. A filmmaker is professional. A film masturbator is masturbating. Thank you, everybody. This is a bit of a wild episode, I understand. This is actually a conversation I've had with many filmmakers before. So they told me, a bunch of people told me, you need to make this an episode because this is a really cool thing. I really hope that it helps you. I hope that it kind of breaks that loose for yourself, and that you can look at yourself and decide whether or not you are a filmmaker or film masturbator. Are you jerking off around all the sets? Are you just, are you half-assing everything that you do? Are you really thinking about the product and what you're selling and where it can go and what it can do? Are you being a business-minded person? Are you being a filmmaker? Please, if you're not, learn. Pick up a book, man. Go to more YouTube videos, but honestly, for the love of God, just pick up a book. Rebel Without a Crew. It's Robert Rodriguez's a story about how he directed El Mariachi. Pick it up. Read. How's about you read? Do some research. Watch some movies. Stop focusing on the behind the scenes of these Hollywood films that you're not working on, that you aren't going to be able to work on yet, and that you're trying to get to. How's about you focus on the story? How's about you focus on the process? How's about you make the actual content? Make the content. Make the film. Succeed in creation and do what you say you're going to do. Then you're a filmmaker. All right, everybody, please like and subscribe. And as always, you can follow us at Danger Dog Productions, YouTube, Facebook, and on dangerdogproductions.com. You can actually get some merchandise, which goes directly into the Danger Dog food bowl. So he really likes food. He really likes to eat. You can really be helping him out. I really appreciate you for it. So thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, stay dangerous, people.